There, I think. Yep. Hello.
Yes.
Greetings and salutations.
Good
We're
af-
back.
We're back. Either your worst
Hello.
nightmare.
Or your best daydream.
That's right. That's right. I prefer the latter.
Welcome to our latest edition of Lehigh Valley Caffeinated, the convention special.
It's been a while because I've had a really bad back. I think it's getting better now. So I said,
My name is not Hillary Clinton.
My name is Hillary Clinton.
If you believe that one, I have a bridge to sell you. So anyhow, we're back. We're going to talk mostly about the recent conventions that we've had. The
Yes.
Republican convention 2 weeks ago, where the party of no elevated Donald Trump, if he needs any elevation. And then last week we had the Democratic National Convention when, wow. We have Hillary now as the official standard bearer of the Democratic Party. She's no longer presumed, but she's still the anointed one, though, because
That's right.
a lot of crap happened in the backstage
yeah.
to that.
I think I think our special guest may have something to say about that.
Yes, he might. But in case you missed it somehow, Bernie kept saying that he was going to take it to the convention. Well, he took it to the convention, all right,
Yep.
and then threw up his hands and gave up.
Well,
Basically. Well, he didn't throw up his hands,
No.
maybe, more than he made a deal.
he made a
is what
deal.
happened. He made several deals with Debbie Wasserman Schultz
Yes.
and Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
This was before the revelation came out
Yeah.
of the leaked emails that implicated Debbie Wasserman Schultz as well as the rest of the Democratic Party of undermining Bernie's campaign.
Now it's interesting because I saw some of the Facebook links from WikiLeaks, and I couldn't quite determine whether anything was done or whether it was just talk or what. Some of the more.
Yeah, we're okay. I just had to. I forgot to reposition.
Oh yeah.
My bad.
But I read the WikiLeaks links on Facebook concerning the emails, and I couldn't really see, to be honest, if it actually proved anything or not. But then I also read that Facebook was sanitizing.
Facebook was sanitizing the WikiLeaks link. Most of the news outlets were sanitizing it as well. They were trying to obfuscate it to not let people know. But anybody worth it can Google, first off.
Yeah.
And second off, some people did. Some people were able to go through the emails, and that is partially why the pressure built up to the tipping point where President Obama called her aside and said, "Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you got to go."
See, the other thing I don't understand is I thought Debbie Wasserman Schultz was kicked out like a month or two ago, and it was very confusing for me because a month or two ago there were reports. I mean, it wasn't publicized. I mean, it wasn't like an open announcement, but there were reports that Debbie Wasserman Schultz had agreed not only to give up her chairmanship at the end of the convention, but besides that, and that they had named a replacement for her. But besides that, they said they've effectively removed her from any day-to-day decision. She's still nominally, until after the convention, and this was 2 months ago.
Right.
Still nominally the head of the party, but they had taken away every single bit of her duties.
This actually was effective roughly a week or so ago after the emails were leaked. Before that point in time, she had no intentions of giving up. And even then, when the emails did come out, all right, Debbie Wasserman Schultz resisted the calls to resign.
Right.
She was defiant to the very end. She was defiant to the point where President Obama called her to meet with her personally.
That's right.
And at that point, Obama told her she had to go.
Okay, that could be.
That's when she made the decision to step down after the convention. So we're assuming by now she's in the unemployment line. No, she's not.
Yeah.
Because A, she's still a congressional representative. All right. Tim Canova, who is running against her in South Florida,
and looks like he's going to win. It
looks like he's going to win now.
Yep.
But two, wouldn't you know that right after she made that announcement, Hillary Rodham
Yeah.
Clinton decided to hire her.
Exactly.
So now she's working for the Clinton campaign officially, whereas before she was under the cover.
She was being paid by the Democratic National Committee to help Hillary before, and now she's being paid by Hillary to help Hillary.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, a lot of Bernie bros, a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters are rightfully pissed, not just at Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but Hillary Clinton as well, and how her nomination came about behind the scenes, and has been the whole time.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, see, that's what I didn't see, because I saw some references to calling Sanders an atheist in the South, which never happened.
Right. That was one of the things that that was revealed in the emails.
Yeah.
That they were considering knocking him on his religion.
Right.
Which A, they didn't do, and B, that would have just pissed him off.
Yeah. Yeah. True. So.
But yeah, now we have a standard bearer. The interesting thing I take away two things from, and I gotta say this first one.
Yep.
Best line I heard at the Democratic National Convention: why vote for the right nut or the left nut when you can have a Johnson or a Jill?
Well, well, the other thing was the famous joke was, I was a Bernie supporter. I thought about becoming a Johnson supporter, but I didn't quite like the idea of a bumper sticker saying "Feel the Johnson." So
Yeah, that wouldn't.
Anyhow.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting sticker to see. Feel the Johnson. Kind of sort of different than feel the burn. And you can't say feel the Jill.
No.
Because, well, that may...
that may be...
Would you rather feel a Jill or a Johnson?
It depends on...
I'm telling you, you can't make this shit up.
Well, it's a unique year, and we're hearing about things that we never thought we The
other takeaway I wanted to mention here, and this is the part that I personally am struggling with. She did make a campaign promise.
Yeah.
Within the first 100 days of her presidency, she would begin the process of organizing an amendment to the Constitution outlawing Citizens United. Do you think she'll do it? That's the big question everybody wants to know.
Well, I think she will.
Because she lies like a lumpy rug.
Well, listen. I was for Bernie. I transferred my allegiance to Hillary about a month before you did. Because
I didn't transfer my allegiance to Hillary.
Oh, that's right.
I'm still on the fence.
Yeah. No, after the California election, I sort of figured, and after Bernie spoke actually the first time, I took him at his word. I became a Hillary supporter, and also I was committed to Hillary becoming elected president, and progressives and the movement electing progressives, and the reason why I was for Bernie and the reason why I transferred my allegiance to Hillary is because of Citizens United. I mean that
is the great temptation for me in and of itself.
Yeah, and I think she's true because, the argument is, I can become July 24th. I'm still trying to find. I'm gonna try to find. I know I saw a political argument article or some article saying, as of like a month or two ago, that Wasserman Schultz had stepped aside. I want to try to find that. I could be mistaken, but that's what really surprised. But I do believe her because you can't unilaterally disarm when you run a campaign for president, unless you're Trump, which I'm not attacking, but you need a certain amount to run a campaign, and Trump's finding out that you can't run a campaign without a certain amount of money, and Hillary's not going to unilaterally...
Hence the stories recently about Trump and the Koch brothers, who
Yes.
are meeting right now in Colorado with various senators. Their stated goal
Yes.
is to take over the Senate this year, and they're staying out of the presidential races.
Mm-hmm.
And of all the senators they have there, our own Pat Toomey
Yes.
is in that neck of the woods. He's accepting that money, so that tells me what? He's bought and paid for by the Koch brothers.
Yep, exactly right.
But the fact of the matter is they're staying out of the presidential race.
Yeah.
They're not going for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
They don't want to back a loser. And
they don't want to back Hillary.
I've said some
Wouldn't that be something? The Koch brothers backing Hillary.
A lot of Republicans are doing it.
This is the first time they're not backing Hillary, to my knowledge. So Hillary's got all those other Wall Street financiers financing her bid.
Yeah. Well.
So here we are again.
Yeah.
2016. Money's still in politics, but we have a promise.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have a campaign promise that Hillary will begin the constitutional amendment to get rid of Citizens United once and for all. The big question is, will she do it?
Well, I believe she will. I believe she's the only candidate who has the capacity to be elected and the capacity to do it, and I believe she'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no other person I would vote for, because only two of them have a chance to become president.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thinking. And you can't hold against her that she's trying to build up a war chest. You can't unilaterally disarm in a presidential campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trump's going to find out very shortly that his disdain for fundraising is going to hurt him. You need boots on the ground. You need people. We have a special guest. I wonder who this could be.
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings, Mr. Anthony.
Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. I just turned off the sound on the TV, so you're on a delay here.
All right, there you go. We'll tip the phone on the side here so you can talk in. You're straight. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot.
I as you spoke of Hillary's promise to introduce constitutional amendment doing away with Citizens United.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really surprised to see or hear anybody taking seriously those two words held in connection, Hillary and promise.
Yeah, this is something that normally doesn't mesh very well together.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's like the old saying, how do you know she's lying? Because her lips are moving. So, I don't know how many times I was asked at the convention, what and I keep an open mind. What might Hillary be able to say that would convince me to change my position?
Mm-hmm.
And it was ridiculous because there was nothing she could possibly say, because she'll say anything, and there's no sincerity there whatsoever. So.
Well, she's already been saying various things. That's my point. She's been working with Bernie. Bernie's been trying to beef up the platform of the Democratic Party, which is just that. It's a platform. It's not a set itinerary.
Right.
I mean, has a platform ever actually worked as an itinerary in a presidential campaign?
Not at all. In fact, I've asked so much about that too. The platform does not impress me at all. The platform is a bunch of high-sounding platitudes. No candidate runs on it. If they do tip their hat to it during the election, they certainly don't govern based on it post-election. It's a publicity stunt. The platform is meaningless. Mm-hmm. So it kind of like cattle prodded Bernie into this platform as if that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's just more, the talking to the left that she's running on to get elected. She'll say anything to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't she campaigning on the platform? Isn't she campaigning on the platform? I mean, as far as free student tuition and TPP and a massive jobs bill and more so.
Word certainly will. Don't look for it after the swearing in.
Yeah, okay, but you said that she wasn't doing it during the that she wasn't going to do it during the campaign because nobody ever does, which is true. But I think she's doing it now, right?
As we get closer to November, you're going to see her backing more and more away.
That could very well be. That could very well be. I concede that.
I mean, this is why so many of the big money people are like not backing Trump, but quietly backing Hillary. They know they're going to do the best representative of Wall Street's interests.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is theirs.
She is indeed.
It could be. Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, Wall Street already has all this money invested in her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. But like I say, my defense is that she's the only candidate who has a possibility of bringing campaign finance reform, and I'm certainly going to hold her feet to the fire. Anyhow, continue.
Well, how could we
Continue.
hold her feet to the fire? I mean, before the election, she'll say or do anything, but once she, assuming for a moment that she does win the election and she goes through the process and she gets sworn in, at that point in time, she can do what every other president has ever done and said, "Fuck you."
If
Basically, yeah.
no, I was just going to say. Go ahead.
If you look at her and understand who she is, going back not just but for the past 30 years, late 80s, early 90s, with the formation of the DLC, Democratic Leadership Council.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So she and Bill were major players in, who formulated this strategy, party strategy of triangulation.
Right.
And
Right.
And basically saying we can afford to totally abandon our progressive group.
No, you're absolutely right.
Anything the progressives, because they've got nowhere else to go. We can give them whatever candidate we want, and they'll vote for us because look at the other guy.
Right.
And there's been this strategy for the past 3 decades. As they move farther and farther to the right. Oh yeah, I'm horrible, but look at this guy over here.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's the difference. I mean, you got to admit, Hillary Clinton looks like an angel compared to Donald Trump.
Of course, and that's the spin. I actually think they're a tag team. I think Trump is in it just to make Hillary look good.
I've wondered that as well, whether Hillary and Donald have this secret $1 bet in the back room somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, it started out at giving her a straw man to spar with so that she could pretend Bernie wasn't there through the primaries. I don't think either of them expected it to take off the way it did. He was, I don't think he expected it all to be around the general election. But,
Right.
yeah, that's what it's been. They've been a tag team.
yeah. Well, the question is, Hillary and Trump are obviously both. By their record, they're obviously both candidates of Wall Street, candidates of the moneyed interest. But do you believe some people are saying that Trump is deliberately trying to lose the election to make Hillary Clinton president? Do you think there's any truth in that?
It almost seems as if he'd been deliberately trying to lose from the very beginning. The type of statements he's made, outrageous, racist, hateful statements. Any one of which would have been a killer for a campaign killer for any other candidate.
Yeah.
But as hard as he tries to look to play the buffoon, he keeps getting more and more popular. Part of it, I think, it has to do with the media. Because they get 24/7 coverage.
Yeah, I think that's most of it. But that's
the media itself has been skewering the election. It's been pimping Donald Trump for free.
Yeah.
And B, it's been downplaying anything to do with Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right.
When they do cover it all, it was just to talk about how he couldn't possibly win. And talk about all these superdelegate votes that Hillary already had.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I understand that you were a delegate at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia.
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything interesting about that experience?
Well, of course, most of us believed going into it, we were going into some kind of contested election. That was not true. It was basically just a huge pep rally for Hillary from beginning to end. It started actually even before the gavel went down that Saturday. I had arrived in town the Saturday before to attend a People's Convention.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tell us about that. They
Well, what I saw was very good. Although I did have to leave early from that because a call had gone out where Sanders delegates were asked to come to the Rules Committee meeting.
Oh.
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 So I left early to go to the Rules Committee meeting, which is supposed to be open. Got there to find that the doors were locked and they weren't letting people in.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we made a massive demonstration of delegates, supporters outside, shouting and chanting, and I heard rather loudly within the room as that rules meeting was going on. The Rules Committee meeting is where things were decided about superdelegates and closed or open primaries.
Which they didn't give. The Hillary people didn't give an inch on. Nothing was accomplished in those.
Well, a little was accomplished, certainly not enough. In the next presidential election cycle, there will be fewer superdelegates.
Oh, really?
About a third as many, yes.
But there will still be superdelegates, nevertheless.
Well,
there would still be superdelegates, yes.
Well, I mean, I think there's a point to having some major political figures in the party being part of the delegate mix, not lobbyists, and certainly not like former politicians like Ed Rendell and that type of thing.
But the Republicans don't have superdelegates at all.
Well, yeah, but they have their own version because don't forget. I'm sorry, I'm taking away your thunder. You talk, Guy. I'm sorry about. I've been too.
Actually, if the Republican Party has superdelegates, they may have been able to stop Trump. But too late now.
It is ironic that the Republican Party is in that way more democratic than the Democratic Party.
Yeah, right.
or maybe not that ironic because the Democratic Party now really is the new Republican Party.
I got a different question here for you, Guy. There were these events that were scattered throughout the day before the gavel struck down on each day. They were like meetings. Did you ever attend any of these meetings?
Not very many, no. I did attend one addressed by Bernie on the first day prior to going in. The trouble there, those meetings were scheduled at the convention center in Philadelphia, which is at 13th and Arch, which is a good 5-6 miles away from the Wells Fargo Center where the actual event was held.
Right.
And transportation to and from those events is always problematic.
Well, I guess there was also a lot of the subway trains were shut down because of problems with the infrastructure. I think that week they had taken a lot of trains off the. Anyhow, go ahead. God, keep talking. I'm sorry, Guy.
They had shows those various hotels delegates staying at. I used those one day, and that was a nightmare. Because,
wow.
I lived in Philadelphia for a number of years. I know my way around Center City pretty well.
Right.
And these shuttles were taking these roundabout routes that made no sense at all.
Wow.
And twice as well get from hotel to the convention center. So I only used the shuttles once. But the Bond Street subway worked very well for getting down to the convention center. And you were able to get to the convention center and I believe non-attendees were actually able to use the subway to that point too, but they're all funneled out a separate gate, so they couldn't get into what
I was told, for example, that the subway station for the stadium area, for example, was blocked off unless you had a pass to get inside.
Ah.
Right. Well, you could get down to that station, but without a pass, you were let out another exit and went to the street, and not to where things were going on. And at the end of the evening, as delegates were coming out, many wanted to join the activities, the protest going out in the street. They actually had that blocked off. And you could get into the train station, the back door to where the hotels were, but you couldn't simply pass through and go to the street side and join the demonstrators outside.
Oh.
We were told that was for our protection.
Oh.
Of course. It was for their protection. God forbid if they get a different opinion.
Yeah, those are my people. I don't want protection.
Wow.
Those were violent people out there. You never know what could have happened to you.
Right. He said, well, you can ride one station south north and then walk back 20 minutes. And my feet just didn't have it in them for that, unfortunately.
Right. So what now? We've got two major candidates and two minor candidates. In addition to Clinton and Trump, we've got Jill Stein running on the Green Party ticket, and we've got Gary Johnson running on the Libertarian ticket. Do you think either one of those would have a chance of beating Clinton and Trump?
I don't know that they'd have a chance of beating Clinton and Trump. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't be supported.
Right.
This time around, it's clear that nobody of any good conscience or functioning mind could vote for Donald Trump or, in my opinion, Hillary Clinton.
Unless you're a truck driver.
What?
Unless you're a truck driver. I hear on the CB radios that all the truck drivers support Trump. Literally.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the truck drivers support Hillary. They feel like she's one of their own. You know what I mean.
Well, I don't want to denigrate truck drivers. However, I think they're off the mark on this one.
I know Nathan Solomon, the leader of the Bernie delegates at the convention, said that they were looking at possibly supporting Hillary in the swing states, but voting for Jill Stein in the other states. Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard of that kind of strategic voting before. Before even this election, that yes, vote your conscience in those states where it looks like it's not going to matter electorally anyway. But don't be a spoiler for. But that's nonsense.
Okay.
Right.
Spoil for what? I mean, what are you going to spoil? You're going to spoil the election for the Democrats?
I guess you don't. Yeah. Okay.
I think it was Lee Camp who said, "Look, there's a reason turds don't come with an expiration date."
So.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you think they say if Jill Stein can win even one state, she can influence the election? Do you think that's are you looking at any particular states that Jill Stein may be able to win and thus influence the election?
I think the best earliest thing to hope for would be that she can reach 50% in the poll, the threshold, to get into the debate.
Right. Okay.
I think that even without the possibility of winning, this is probably the best opportunity there's been in my lifetime for the establishment of a viable third-party option.
Right.
This would be the best chance for that. Yes.
It would seem so. Yes.
And then to focus on local races afterwards.
Did you
Now,
see Jill Stein?
hold on. I got a question here
I'm
for
sorry,
you.
go ahead.
Now, assuming for a moment that Jill Stein were able to pull off a victory, all right? If she was able to beat Hillary Clinton, if she was able to beat Donald Trump, we don't need Hillary Clinton to go forward with that Democratic Party platform, do we?
Right.
Oh no! You're suggesting if you actually had President Jill Stein, I think we'd be seeing a presidency far more progressive than even that Democratic Party platform.
Right. But I'm saying that only if, and I say if, a majority of Democrats occupy both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Because if there's Republicans in there, if there's Republicans in the mix, then any president is going to face the same problem Obama did, which is a paralyzed House of Representatives where the Republicans basically blocked him at every step of the way. They cock-blocked him.
Yeah, you might say that.
It's a graphic word, but I think it's appropriate. Because that's what they've been doing to Barack Obama for the past 8 years, is they cock-blocked him on just about everything. So it's just as important to get the Republicans out of Congress. Now, with a fully Democratic House, a fully Democratic Senate, do we really need Hillary Clinton?
Not in the least.
Not in the least.
Boy, that was a surprise answer from you guys.
I can't imagine any scenario in which you need Hillary Clinton. I also, you're right. It's important to switch the House. I believe the Senate is going to flip this time around. That's just basically looking at the electoral map, knowing which seats are in jeopardy or more secure. It looks like that the Senate is going back Democrat.
Well, the Senate might be a little bit of a problem in part because, as I mentioned earlier before you called in, the Koch brothers are meeting with various senators right now out in Colorado, at Aspen, Colorado, or some high-flying place where it costs $100,000. It costs $100,000 just to get in the door.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And among many of the senators who are there is our own Pat Toomey.
It costs $100,000 a ticket. The Koch brothers couldn't even afford more than 100 tickets. That's how bad it was.
Well, it's my understanding there's about 400 people there right now who paid $100,000 just to get in the door.
Terrible. They are evil incarnate.
So we're going to be up against that as far as getting Toomey out of the way.
Toomey's buying into it.
But there's going to be others as well. So the trick, I guess, is going to be to get as many Democrats and other progressives in there as possible.
Yeah.
And as far as Hillary, we don't need her.
On the down ticket offices, like Senate and House.
Yeah.
I would say this time around, at the very least, we're going to go with Democrats. I don't know of any Greens or third-party alternatives that are even making a run at those offices.
That's a good question. If there are any third-party candidates for other offices.
But of course, my choice for Senate was of course John Fetterman.
Right, it was mine as well, but unfortunately he did not pass.
No, but he was at the convention, campaigning very hard for Democrats, including down-ticket Democrats. I guess by extension, McKinsey.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to see that he was there.
Anything to get rid of Pat Toomey.
Oh yeah. Well,
Was there anything else of interest that you found down there during all that time?
Well, the whole thing was an exercise in holding your nose at all these Hillary promoting speeches. Like I said, it was largely a pep rally for Hillary.
Yeah. Exactly.
We did make some good raucous protests, particularly in the first day or two. When the count came in, when the roll call count came in for the nomination, and it was official that the Queen of Wall Street would be coronated, there was a massive walkout. I walked out along with quite a few.
Oh,
others.
1,100 delegates walked out, they say. That's what I heard. And I don't. What percentage is 1,100 out of the total number of delegates? Do you know offhand?
I'm not sure. 1,100 sounds like it might actually be a little high. I don't know. There were like 19. I think it was 1,900 Bernie delegates in all.
Okay, so 4,000. I heard 1,100, which would mean it was about 25% of all the delegates. That's what I heard. But
were you involved in that walkout?
I did walk out. Absolutely.
What happened after you walked out? I mean, you went to a rally. You what?
I don't know what happened after I walked out. I walked out.
I mean, was there a gathering outside? Was there speeches or something, or meetings?
There was. But I was so disgusted. I went back to my hotel.
Okay. Now, maybe it was out there somewhere, but if there's one thing I've noticed, there was a lack of films or a lack of video, both from the walkout and from the daytime sessions that Guy and the other delegates attended. For example, I watched all manner of protest videos from Jill Stein, things that were going on from the protests outside. Nothing going on inside. I couldn't find any videos from the events that were being held during the day. You would think there would be.
Well, I saw them live, and I saw some of the more bitter disputes live in the afternoon sessions. They put everything in the real negative stuff in the afternoon session so that they'd hope people wouldn't see it. I also saw, by the way, the platform committee meetings on C-SPAN, and they were really hard fought. So, but anyhow,
As one of the worst things was Nina Turner, who was originally selected to deliver Bernie's nominating speech.
Who was that? Who?
Nina Turner.
Oh, yes.
Had originally been selected to deliver Bernie's nominating speech.
Wasn't she married to Ike Turner? Anyhow. Go ahead.
Yeah. Nina, not Tina.
Right. No, but I've seen Nina. She's a very good spokesman. Very good spokesman. Yeah.
And actually, it was the work came down to not to allow her to do that. And it was basically from the Hillary campaign.
Right.
The bar. So Bernie didn't get to have his first choice to make the nominating speech. And she was barred even making a second speech.
Oh, really?
In fact, they lifted her credentials after that.
How can they do that?
To even attend.
What was the?
I'm not. I don't know what excuse they offered.
All right.
But what I've since found is that they were very concerned about Nina being a powerful speaker, and possibly herself as a challenging run in 2000.
That makes sense.
18.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very interesting. There was discussion. Did you hear about discussion earlier that Bernie Sanders might possibly nominate Hillary Clinton? You hear anything about that at all?
Bernie Sanders nominated? No, he didn't nominate her.
No, he didn't nominate her. He was requested to nominate her. When Hillary and Bernie were meeting to discuss how the convention would go out, she has suggested that he nominate her, but he nixed the idea because he claims that he wanted the delegates to vote, to fulfill their vote, whether they were going to vote for him or not. Which is why he never released the delegates, which is why he stuck it out through to the bitter end. I was hoping and praying for a floor fight.
Yeah, I know you were
I wanted to see a floor fight.
So was I.
I mean, I had pom-poms ready for this.
Well, you were talking about WikiLeaks earlier this afternoon and how you...
The whole, and I mentioned the whole timing with the WikiLeaks dump of the email database. it was timed so that it would ruin Hillary. But if he had released it sooner, it could have helped Bernie. And from an interview that I saw, this is of course hearsay only, I heard that Julian Assange's only interest in releasing those emails was to watch America burn. Now, I can't say as I blame him. He's been stuck at the Ecuadorian embassy for what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
But still, he's not in it to make America a better place. He's just in it to watch America burn.
Well, Assange was on
Well, I don't know. If he could have burned Hillary, it would have made America better.
Right. But if he'd have released those emails earlier, it could have influenced the election earlier. I mean, get rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz should have been fired 6 months ago or a year ago.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find the article that said there was a sub-voca deal that even though they weren't saying it, she was out already, and I can't find the article now. But I'm sure that Bernie Sanders has been negotiating that for a long time with Hillary.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've been negotiating a lot, period.
Yeah.
My guess is that since they got this platform vote and everything, Bernie's gone back to the Senate. Bernie will be there for 2 more years yet.
Yeah.
So my question, and this is an open-ended question because I'm not sure how this is going to happen, but I could imagine that Bernie has gotten, like mad props, for example, for lack of a better phrase, because of the email scandal and how badly that he was burned by the Democrats. Now, he's already renounced his Democratic ID or whatever and went back to being a independent.
Yeah.
But now, will that preclude him, or will that help him in getting a position come the new Senate next year?
Mm-hmm.
And will he?
I don't know. I had hoped that maybe in snatching Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But being a Senate Majority Leader means being a member of a political party.
I'm afraid so, yeah.
So would he go back to being a Democrat if he got to be named?
I don't know. I know that I was very disappointed at like his final act, his final speech there, when at the end of the roll call, Vermont was the last state called, and it was at that point that he can suspend the rules and have Hillary declared the nominee by acclamation.
By acclamation, right?
Yeah.
Now, there was no need for him to do that. There was no need for him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had gotten the roll call. She was there already. You know, there was no need for him to give her that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unless it was agreed to in advance.
Oh, it probably was. They probably put him through the ringer. It was all part of when they denied him having Nina Turner as.
Well, what about? They said it was much more dramatic in the arena than on TV. That every time the Bernie people, especially when the military generals were speaking, every time the Bernie delegates would start chanting against Hillary, the Hillary delegates would drown him out by saying USA, USA, or Hillary, 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 in order to hide from the TV cameras that there was a loud faction of people booing her.
Yeah, they did that. In fact, I had a handmade sign that I whipped together on the spot really quickly. It was "No more stolen elections, never Hillary." And they actually threatened to have me thrown out.
I wouldn't have. Being the kind of guy you are, I would have expected anything less of you.
I wish they had because I think it would have been great.
Oh, they didn't.
I could have created the visual of them carrying out a delegate kicking and screaming off the floor.
That would have been precious.
I would have loved for that.
Well, they knew who they were dealing with. They knew if they picked on you, they would have regretted it. Let me ask you one more question, and a lot of times I'm trying to play devil's advocate. We have to have somebody defend the other side because we're still supposed to be nonpartisan. This whole corruption
Oh,
thing.
Donald Trump, he's such an innocent soul.
Oh, yeah.
Him and his hair are totally angelic in appearance. Not!
But I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity to meet any famous delegates or any Susan Sarandon or anybody at all, or was it just such a tightly controlled thing that you didn't have a chance to meet anybody that we might, Did you meet Nina Turner? Did you meet any of the progressives?
No, well, they kept Nina away. but no, not really close up. I saw Rick Doherty quite a bit. He was near our
Doherty?
Rick Doherty, yes.
Yeah.
We're hoping he beats Charlie Dent this
I think he spoke.
Day.
The only one I really wanted to meet was Rosario Dawson.
Was who?
Rosario Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
Rosario Dawson.
Oh, yeah. Well, what did you think of Katy Perry?
I loved her even before she got political.
What did you think of Katy Perry's performance in her sheer dress?
I didn't make that out. What'd you say?
And Katy Perry was wearing a sheer dress. Did you notice?
No, I don't think the lights were right.
Besides, I haven't seen pictures of it, but it can't be too sheer. I mean, those are some knockers. I mean, they would knock people out. And if it was sheer, nobody is going to focus on her singing.
Well,
She could rob the place and nobody would see her face.
Well,
Alicia Keys did a nice.
yes, very nice. She made a little speech, and then she sang. It was a very good speech. Do you have any use for Sarah Silverstein anymore? Silverman.
Oh, Sarah Silverman?
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Well, if you can.
She was an instant turncoat.
This is not. I'm being very sexist.
They had this parade. It's not just Sarah Silverman, but they had this parade of all these speakers who came up, and all of them glowed over Hillary Clinton. Not one, even so much as mentioned Bernie, except Sarah Silverman. She mentioned the Bernie crowd. What was the term she used?
You're being ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous.
Like they were being ridiculous, yeah.
But there were other speakers that
got the cheer going longer and louder.
But there were other speakers who talked about Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember several. Cory Booker did. There were a bunch of speakers, especially on the first day. They tried to praise Bernie to the hilt. I remember that all the speakers had like a mission to praise Bernie to the hilt.
Yeah, they gave it lip service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to conclude with, if I may ask?
Well, that's it. Except I know there's a lot of question floating around among the former delegates. I'm sure among voting supporters, what to do. A few are tempted to drink the Trump Kool-Aid, the anti-Trump Kool-Aid, and support Hillary because they've got to be afraid of Donald Trump. But if you look at the cycle, it's less than evilism. It's something that's been played by the Democrats for the longest. And each election cycle, it gets worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
If you swallow that Kool-Aid, and go Hillary to avoid Trump, what you're going to get 4 to 8 years from now is a Democratic candidate who's a mirror image of Donald Trump, and a Republican candidate who is God only knows what, because the evil has to get progressively worse.
Yeah.
So you're going to stay scared of him. It's only going to get continuously worse unless you break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about spoiling it because
there's nothing to spoil.
Hillary's probably going to take the election anyway, the same way that the primary.
Right.
Cheating, electronic vote flipping,
media manipulation.
Yeah. If you think that she won this primary through proper electoral democratic means. He did not. This was an installation, not an election. There was voter fraud up and down the line. There was strong evidence of electronic vote flipping. She's going to win in November that way anyway, so don't worry about spoiling.
Okay. I will.
Bernie, right at Bernie Hill. Personally, I'm going Gill, not Hill.
There you go.
I wanted to say that I feel a lot of kinship in what you just said, but where I saw, well, first of all, the way the debates were scheduled, obviously, but the other thing was New York and California were really glaring for, like, just unbelievable voting irregularities.
Absolutely.
And I'm wondering if Julian Assange or somebody will come out with some kind of proof somewhere along the line, because that was just so. That was the glaring thing to me. Not so much what I saw about WikiLeaks, but the voting debate schedule and the New York and California return. And maybe you could just say a thing about that.
Well, if you really want to look at that, just some of the documentation on not just New York and California, but Arizona, many other states, what's going on, I would say take a look at a woman named Debbie Lusican.
Okay.
Now, she is on YouTube as the Sane Progressive.
Okay, you've mentioned her before, although the first time not on the show.
Yeah, so if you do a search on that, YouTube, Sane Progressive, and take a look at her videos. I mean, from the very beginning, she's been a strong proponent of Bernie, and as the primary progressed, she did a lot on the voter fraud. And actually, I think one of Bernie's biggest mistakes throughout this primary is not actively calling out the voter fraud that was going on.
Well, we'll check into that. But anyhow, we thank you very much, and hopefully maybe we'll have you on again at some point in the near future. We're going to be back. We're going to be doing other things down the road.
Yeah.
And Robert's pain-free, so...
I'm not so pain-free today. It disturbs me, but I was pain-free for the last week, and that was nice.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you for joining us, Guy.
Take care.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay, I will cut in to tell you that maybe you can talk about next week's show a little bit, but I have to cut out to catch my bus.
I understand. You wanted to mention something about Allentown?
There's a lot of things. We can wait till that. A lot's happening in the racketeering investigation against our mayor here, Ed Pulowski, and I'll talk about some of that next week. I'll start trying to make a regular feature about the various blogs and newspaper articles that have come about talking about the corruption racketeering here in Allentown. And I'll do that next week.
And another story I'm going to report on myself for next week is the new hacking war between Russia and the United States, because Russia was blamed by the NSA and some government and some IT people who work outside of the government. They had reason to believe that it was Russia who hacked into the Democratic National Committee.
Right.
My own personal opinion of it, they could have just been made to look like the Russians. It might not have been the Russians. And if they were, they would have done. They wouldn't have used their own IP addresses. They would have used proxies. They would have hidden their attack vectors. They're a lot more sophisticated than that. But shortly thereafter, the NSA went in and hacked Russia.
Right.
And right now, if there's one thing you don't hear, is what's happening with that story between America hacking Russia and Russia hacking America, and Julian Assange playing the role of Morpheus, fighting against Edward Snowden, who is playing the role of Neo, as he came out to say that Assange was not curating, and I use that term specifically because that's the term he used, curating the dumps and filtering out things like credit card numbers, names, addresses, phone numbers, that kind of stuff. Assange just went and released everything.
Yeah.
And Snowden called him out on that.
I
So
saw
those
that.
two are fighting about it. I'll have more on that next week here on Lehigh Valley Caffeinated.
And I will have questions about that too that I guarantee you will not have answered in your presentation because I've been following this pretty closely also.
Stump me. I dare you. Stump me.
I will. No,
I
no,
can
no.
stump Google.
No, I'm not going to stump you. I'm going to bring out other facts which I find very interesting in this whole thing.
Okay.
So
it sounds like we have an interesting show here next week. Next Monday afternoon, 4 o'clock. My name is not Hillary Clinton.
My name is Hillary Clinton.
Thank you for joining us, and have a good day.
Take care. Thanks a lot.